Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks so much for joining me on the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel today. Today I am working with several Spellbinders products that are kind of winter, Christmas, cold weather themed. The first set I'm using is called Winter Welcome Sled, and it's a sled with the ice skates and then a bunch of accessories. And then the next set I'm using are a bunch of different sentiments, a whole bunch of sentiments. These are called Mix and Match Holiday Greetings. And so I've gone ahead and I've cut out all of my papers. And so for the ice skates, I have used a glitter paper. And then for the rest of the skate, I'm just using some white cardstock. And for each ice skate, there are three different pieces that need to be adhered together, and that is the actual skate portion of the ice skate and then the shoe portion, which on the white cardstock it is the parts that are going to be showing are the heel, and then there are some laces that are visible on through the die. And so when you put this third piece on top, which in this case is the glitter cardstock, it's going to look like these shoelaces are a little bit dimensional. And so that piece just goes right on top of the white cardstock. And I found it best to use liquid glue just because it gives you a little bit of time to kind of move the pieces around to exactly where you want them. And so I'm just going to repeat that same process for the second ice skate. And then originally I had a sled that was brown and gray, and I didn't end up liking that, and so I do switch that up a bit. But the ice skates come with the kind of like the shoelace string, which they are hanging from, and so that is another die. And I've actually doubled this one up so it's a little thicker, and then just adhered the ice skates kind of as if they were hanging onto the shoelaces. And then here is the original sled that I had made, and I changed my mind because I really wanted to use this really beautiful blue paper for the sled. And so this is kind of a metallic-y, or not really a metallic, it's not super shiny, but it's got a little bit of shimmer to it, as well as this blue paper has that shimmer. And I wish I knew where I had gotten this from. It is just beautiful paper, and I think that's my last piece. But it's basically just stuff from my stash. And to try and get the wood slats on the sled as evenly spaced as possible, I found it easiest to adhere the outside pieces and then go inward. So I'm going to adhere those two smaller pieces on the right and the left side of that sled frame. And then I will go in from there. And so I'll grab the next two pieces and then finally the middle portion. There is also a piece that goes over kind of the top that is, I guess, for like if you wanted to hang the sled. I'm not really sure. I live in Arizona, so we don't see, at least where I live, we don't see a sled. So that piece can go over the top. Or really, you can just leave that off if it's going to be covered with the accessories that come in this die set as well, and that's the flower and the branches. So you don't end up really seeing that piece at all. So I went ahead and I took the flower die and I cut that out 6 times with a piece of kind of shimmery off-white cardstock, and each flower gets 2 of the flowers, or 2 of the die cut pieces. So I just added a glue dot in the middle and then stacked the next piece on top of that to make that a little bit dimensional. And putting all these pieces together is super easy, especially if you keep the packaging. It's a very good reference for putting everything together, and honestly it wasn't complicated at all to assemble these pieces. I went ahead and I added a little bit of foam to the back of the ice skates so that it popped up off of the sled a little bit, and then I'm going to adhere all of my foliage and my flower, and then I'm going to get the background ready. And for that I'm using the Spellbinders embossing folder, using the same paper that I use for the flowers. This embossing folder is called Dazzling Dots, and it is an embossing folder that is made for both the slimline size and the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is why it's so big, because it can accommodate both of those card sizes, which is really cool. So I went ahead and I ran that through my die cut machine, and it gave that really pretty texture in the background. And then I went ahead and I adhered the slide the sled to that. And then next I die cut all of the sentiments from the Mix and Match Holiday Greetings die set, just because I wasn't really sure what they said. And so I'm going to go ahead and use that for future reference, so that I can easily pick out the sentiment that I want. But in this case, I am using just the sentiment that says joy, and I have stacked these several times, so I cut these out several times with some red cardstock, and I'm using these micro dots to adhere together. I find the micro dots, especially on small areas, are a lot easier to use than liquid glue. And so I'm just going to stack the letters, and the J is actually separate from the OY, which is the case with several of the dies in this set. But I went ahead and I glued the J on top of the other letters once I had gone ahead and stacked all of those. And then I'm going to add some liquid adhesive and place that on my card. And the sentiment strip below that says to the world is a sticker sentiment, and so it's just going to say joy to the world. And then to add a little bit more dimension to the die cut sentiment, I added some of the glossy accents, and then to the flowers I added some stickles. And so all of the items that I used today will be listed in the description below. So if you're interested, go ahead and check that out. But that is my card today. This was really fun working with these Spellbinders products, and I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed creating. Don't forget to subscribe to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel for lots of inspiration from the design team. That is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please go ahead and give a thumbs up. As always, I thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I hope to see you next time.